If you have ever consumed a single piece of mainstream personal finance media, you have heard the golden rule: there is bad debt and there is good debt. Bad debt is simple to understand. It's high-interest credit cards used for luxury vacations, designer clothes, and depreciating assets. It's financial poison, and everyone agrees on that. But then, we are told about good debt. We are told that borrowing 6 figures for a university degree, taking on a massive mortgage for a primary residence, or leveraging capital to start a business is smart. We are told it's an investment. But what if the line separating good debt from bad debt isn't a line at all? What if it's a manufactured marketing narrative designed to make you comfortable signing away decades of your future labor? Today, we are dismantling the illusion. We are breaking down the hidden mechanics of the good debt trap, the math they don't want you to calculate, and the modern blueprint to protect your net worth. To understand how the trap works, we have to look at definitions. True wealth building relies on a simple framework. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. The danger of the good debt narrative is that it successfully rebrands massive liabilities as assets. Take the classic example of an expensive master's degree. You are told to borrow $50, $80, or $100,000 because your future earning potential will compound. But debt doesn't care about potential. Debt only cares about math. The moment you graduate, that monthly student loan payment is fixed, guaranteed, and legally non-negotiable. Your future job market value, however, is volatile, variable, and entirely unguaranteed. When you borrow money based on a hypothetical future return, you aren't investing. You are gambling with leverage. You have locked yourself into a financial obligation before you've even built a foundation to support it. The secondary argument for good debt is leverage. Financially sophisticated people will tell you, why use your own money when you can use the bank's money at a low interest rate, invest your cash elsewhere, and beat the spread? On paper, inside a clean spreadsheet, that math looks flawless. But spreadsheets lack human emotion, and spreadsheets don't experience emergencies. Debt changes your psychological relationship with money. When you carry zero debt, your monthly overhead is incredibly low. If you experience a job loss, a market downturn, or a medical emergency, your survival runway is massive. You can pivot calmly. But when you are highly leveraged, even if it's good real estate or business debt, your monthly baseline requirement is sky high. Debt introduces fragility into your financial ecosystem. It forces you to make fear-based decisions. You stay at a toxic job you hate because you cannot afford a single month without a paycheck. You sell investments at the absolute bottom of a market crash because you need quick liquidity to service your loans. The true cost of debt isn't just the interest rate printed on your contract. It is the absolute destruction of your structural flexibility. We don't need to live in a fantasy world where nobody ever borrows money. Instead, we need a strict, analytical filter to determine when debt is an acceptable risk and when it is a trap. Here is the modern blueprint. Step 1. Apply the cash flow test. Debt can only be classified as potentially good if the asset it purchases immediately generates independent cash flow to cover its own principal and interest, plus a margin of safety. If you buy a rental property where the tenant's rent covers the mortgage, property management, and maintenance, that is calculated leverage. If you buy a primary residence that requires 50% of your personal take-home pay to maintain, that is not an asset, it is a consumption choice. Step 2. Cap your personal leverage capacity. Never allow your total debt service, including your mortgage, to exceed 30% of your net monthly income. The moment your fixed debt obligations pass this threshold, your ability to save automatically and invest aggressively evaporates. You become a servant to your monthly bills, regardless of how much your assets are supposedly appreciating on paper. Step 3. Establish the leverage premium. If you are going to borrow money to invest, The expected return on that investment must beat the guaranteed interest rate of the debt by a clear premium of at least 5% to account for risk. If you are borrowing at 7% to chase a historically uncertain 8% return in the stock market, the risk-adjusted math makes absolutely no sense. Protect your peace of mind over spreadsheet projections. The financial industry loves debt because your interest payments are their revenue stream. They have a massive incentive to make you feel sophisticated for borrowing money. They want you to believe that maximizing leverage is how you play the game of wealth. But true financial freedom is not about optimizing debt to the absolute millimeter. True freedom is the total absence of structural obligations. When you owe nothing to anyone, every single dollar that enters your ecosystem belongs to you, your family, and your future. You don't build wealth by figuring out how much debt you can handle without breaking. You build wealth by building an unshakable, debt-free foundation that allows you to capitalize on opportunities while everyone else is scrambling to pay off their past choices. True wealth is silent, simple, and entirely yours. If you are ready to see through the common myths of modern finance and build a truly resilient future, hit the subscribe button for your weekly upgrade. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.